Hello and welcome. I am the Scraptastic Crocheter, and my name is Amanda. And for those of you that's watching this at a later moment, welcome. And for those that's here right now, welcome. I am just going to be chit-chatting a little bit today, and yeah, let's have some fun. Just gonna finish this one, and I'm gonna see if I can figure some out with my settings here. So let's see. Oh, I see. I need to do like that. Is it gonna turn? No? Yes? Why is this not working? Do I need to restart maybe? I don't know. Let's see. It does not look like I can. Apparently it wants me to have my phone like this. Okay, well, I guess that's how we're doing it then. So I have to readjust. And let's see here. Tricky now. Nope, that's not gonna work. How about this angle? Like so. Okay. And let's see. Is the sound okay? Can you hear me? I haven't been putting any videos up or anything for quite some time now, so I figured it's about time. And why not just go live? I'm noticing it's a little bit tricky to crochet and keep an eye underneath my phone because it's just straight above. Don't want to hit my holder, and I want you to be able to see as much as possible, of course. this row is going to be very long, and it's only going to be these clusters of 3 double crochets together, or yeah, double crochet clusters all the way around. I think this is going to take a lot longer than some of the other rows, just because it's basically 3 double crochets in one, and it's a blanket with 4 sides, and one side of, well, some of the other stitches has already been taking over half an hour aside. So I don't think there's going to be much more to this little crochet session than these clusters, because I just started here on this corner. So I have done this part here with these clusters, and well, maybe it's a half an hour before I get to the other corner. We'll see. Hopefully it's still enjoyable to look at, and I have been taking parts of conversations on Facebook, in Facebook groups, about how you hold your crochet hook as you crochet recently, and there's a lot of people that's like, oh, finally someone that holds their crochet hook like I do. And I don't know if it's very rare to hold not only like pencil grip, but I don't know, I use my long finger to move the stitches or keep a hold of them so they don't slide off the hook, as well as, I don't know, there's just, you can hold a hook in so many different ways. I don't know exactly what it is. Like I hold a part of the fabric that I already did with these 2 fingers. I hold the crochet hook with these, and then I use the long finger as some kind of guide, I guess. And the yarn over my finger there, and basically like just grabbing a hold of it a little bit with, well, basically maybe these 2 fingers. So I have some kind of tension grip, but most of the time the yarn just glides in between the fingers. It's only there for a little bit of well, control, I guess. It's mostly to like how I, catch the yarn, to not pull too much at the same time. This is 100% polyamide yarn, or polyester. Polyester. Isn't that about the same? Recycled polyester, even. And it is quite slippery, and it does occasionally split a bit. So it's not the most fun yarn to work with, but I'm really enjoying the colors and the feel of the finished blanket. And it is a fairly inexpensive yarn, so why not? I'm needing a lot of yarn for this blanket because I want it to be big, and therefore, yeah, I don't want to like spend a fortune on yarn. It's gonna be quite heavy as well. I did measure it the other day. I don't have a current measurement because I have been working on it since I measured it, and I did have 115 centimeters at the time of measuring. And also I'm not sure how much is weighing right now, but I have enough yarn for it to be a very heavy blanket. If I use all the yarn, which my plan is to use all the yarn, then it's gonna be almost 4.5 kilograms. Someone is going to buy Hopi yarn because of me. What did I do to make you want to buy Hopi yarn? And what yarn is it that you fell in love with or got curious about because of me? Because I love Hopi yarn, and this is not a Hopi yarn. This is my local, more or less dollar store type-esque store yarn, own brand kind of thing. Oh, the Tweed Dreams. Yeah. Oh, I love that yarn. I really, really love it. I have been getting a couple of, like, I haven't posted my most recent hauls because we've been sick. We've been sick since like the end of November. I've had the whole family basically home, sick kids. I've been sick. Yeah, and then Christmas and all of that, and then we got sick again after. It's been just colds, some stomach stuff going on. So I do have actually, is it 2 or 3 Hopi hauls that I did not yet share? I think it's 2. I need to film those, I guess. And yeah, I have so many finished items that I haven't shared. I feel so bad for not, putting anything up for so long because I really wanted to get better at like getting stuff up, and it feels like I only got worse. But I don't have any Tweed Dreams in my latest hauls. I do have the biggest, like largest size, well, dimension size. Probably not the heaviest, but I do have the largest of the Hopi yarn cakes that they have currently, and I did compare it like side by side with some other stuff. It's kind of fun to see how big they actually are because I had not. Yeah, it's a fairly new yarn on their website. They launched it this fall, but the size next to the other stuff, I just had to see for myself. Unfortunately, it's a yarn that I'm not going to be able to order again because I did get an allergic reaction. I'm most likely going to use it up, but I'll have to take some allergy pills while doing it. And I have not been in the mood to do that yet either. And finished items, oh my god, I have a huge pile. It would probably be bigger if it wouldn't it like this blanket. I started this blanket on the 5th of January. Oh, sorry. And I said that it's over 115 centimeters in length. I'm just gonna see if I can get the phone off here for a second. This is the back side of it because that's, yeah, it's facing forward because I'm only working in rounds on the front side. But my feet are underneath there, so I can't even see my feet. And It's up to, well, above my chest. And this is basically the only thing I've been working on since the 5th of January. And now with every row basically taking, well, a little bit over half an hour. Well, of course, depending on stitch. I'm really sorry now for, see, there we go. Probably not the most pretty view there, the inside of my hand, but I'm trying to show you a little bit. And I can actually, just now when I'm stretching it out, I'll show you a little bit more of the pretty side. I can't just show you the back side of it. And see, it's repetitions. So this, let's see, this part here, well, here we have a quite of a thicker ridge because it's a back post, and there we have another row of back posts, and in between here is the same as here is the back post ridge and this part here. So I'm only repeating this again and again. There's a pattern on Ravelry, Marnie's Garden. And since it had garden in his name, it felt pretty okay. Like, I don't know, it just felt like it needed greens and it needed a little bit of like flowery pops. I can show you the main yarns that I'm using for this, and then I have some accent yarns, so I'll show you these. This is what the lighter pieces, that's what the yarn looks like, with white and slightly pinkish beige. Little, I don't know, this makes me think of some kind of candy. Is it nougat or some toffee? Like, maybe it's just the hints of goldenish browns, but very, very light. I'm thinking candy. Maybe because I have a sweet tooth, I don't know. And then we have this other one, which we have the little rusty, that reminds me of flowers in a garden, with different, almost a bluish green, and then a forest green, and a lighter green. It's a really pretty, and it's very shiny because of this polyester type. And I really love the fact that this is 100% recycled yarn, so it's, I guess, as environmentally friendly as it could be, because it could have just ended up in a landfill and someone decided, no, let's recycle this and make it into yarn and make something pretty out of it. So that's the two base colors I have. The row I'm doing now is an accent color that's slightly pinkish, because I figured that works with, well, the slight pinkish hues in this. And then we have the rust, a solid green, and another multicolored. And these were actually yarns that I had leftovers, or I had them at home from before. These two were newly launched colors, or like this season color, and I bought these last year. So I only had one of each of these, and I had 3 of this one. So I'm only using them as a pop of color, a little bit of accent, and I figured some solid wouldn't hurt. Here you can see a row of solids within these very colorful rows, and then a little pop of this rust color, a little bit of this green again, and here is a row of this, and we have some beige golden color, some 2 different blues, and then basically the same dark green as, well, this is it's very similar, but the darker green is also in here. It's not the same exact green, but together they work perfectly fine, I'd say. And then we also have a little bit of a darker yellowish color, and it reminds me of the one in here. It's not the same, but it's close. So it works together perfectly fine, I'd say. So that's what I have here. Let's see, I need to put these away now, or at least move them, so that I can continue with what I was doing. And now I hit you again, so now you're swinging. My bad, sorry. So, yeah, we can see here we have rows with the bluish colors in here a little bit. And also I did, well, over here is the blue. And in this, well, I've changed them up. So here we have this arch all in the, well, with the blue mixed in. And here we have the main green multicolor, and then with the blue, and then I have the lighter one with the green multi behind it instead. But on this row here, I only, like, the whole cluster section is with, well, this main color. So I've switched it up a bit, just like here I have this green color, and here we have the lighter colors, and in this section we have that color again. So I'm repeating, but I'm also changing. And I did in the beginning row, I'm gonna move it to the middle. So I'm gonna move everything to the side and fold up a little bit. But here we have actually the solid green and the blue. So I did a repeat before with another combination. And in the center, I did start everything off with this rust. And here we have more rust. And then there's a row somewhere in here with these. I think these remind me of tulips. So a row of a pop of color, I'd say. And since I only have, not much left, I want to save it. So I don't know how much I'm going to be using in the rows right now. Because I did use, well, a little bit here as an accent, and it's probably just that type of thin accent. It's slip stitches all the way around. That's gonna make the yarn last a bit longer since I only have a limited amount of it. So I'm probably gonna do that and not this like really yarn eating type of row. But since I did find this, is it lavender? I don't know, mauve. I'm not very good at the colors, but it's slightly purple pink. I have not used that at all until now because I recently just found it. So I'm going to be using this on these accents as well going forward. So that's going to be interesting to see how it works in. Feels like it looks good so far. Let's see. Now I'm going to try and see if I can position myself again so that you can see what I do, and try to not hit the phone again, because that will mean you start dancing. So yeah, as I said, it is a little bit splitty occasionally, so I'm not going very fast on certain places here, only because I really don't like to redo these clusters because I'm too fast in the yarn splits. So I'd rather just take my time, be a little bit slower, but not have to redo it, kinda. So what is everyone doing this evening or day or what time it is at your place. I don't really know what time it is right now, but the rest of my family is sleeping. So it means it's quite late. That much I know. Getting some more yarn out here, pulling it out. Easier to not have it all tangled up. So I do pull out a bit at a time and not too much. The only downside of crocheting at this hour, which is quite late, is that I'm very, very in the mood for coffee. But if I drink coffee now, then I'm gonna be up till morning. And that's not the best thing to do. No. But a cup of coffee would really be nice right now. I do have a large glass of water, and that's what I just have to cope with. Some days it feels like I can drink coffee like however late I want and still be able to go to sleep. And some days it's just like, nope, I had coffee after dinner and couldn't sleep. So apparently that was too late for that day. So I'm not really sure if I picked up on that, but if you're still here, that was gonna order some hobby yarn because of my hauls. Have you ordered from Hobby before, or is this the first time? I'm not really sure. I'm very like I want to try and figure these live things out, but apparently like the chat windows are like disappearing very fast on me. I don't know why that is. Or maybe oh, there. Now I can see the chat without the disappearing on me. It was just up for a few seconds. I'm happy if I am able to read them, the messages when they're up so short. Oh, you tried Cookie? I love Cookie. Cookie is one of, well, it's actually a yarn that I purchased before I discovered Hobby, because Cookie is made in Sweden, or, well, I don't know if the manufacturer is here, but Cookie is designed, I guess, at least by Järbo, which is a Swedish yarn company. And I can find them occasionally in my local grocery store. So I have tried Cookie like years ago, and I love it. I have a bunch of cookies at home, and there's a bunch of the colors that I really love, and I'm trying to figure out like if I can come up with a project to justify me ordering more cookies. uh, yeah, I love cookies. One of my first reviews on this channel is the cookie yarn, and yeah, I love the fact that it's a lot of yarn for not a lot of money. The cakes are big, they're really big, and it's really nice quality of yarn and really nice color combinations and all of that. So I hope I'm not distracting too much from you helping your kid with homework. Yeah, the only downside I'd see with Cookie is that it is a little bit fuzzy and has a halo, so it's not the most fun thing to frog. But if you do simple things and, well, not mess up too much, or you can live with small accidents or mishaps or, a missed stitch here or an extra increase there, it's perfectly fine. But frogging it more than once, do not recommend. Once you've frogged it, it's even worse to frog it another time. But it does give a really nice fluffy texture. I've made hats. I did start to make like a little rug out of cookie once. I still have that laying around somewhere. Whatever I have left of it, because I did actually half frog that project. So I did reuse half of the yarn for something else. Because I was never happy about the rug type of thing I was trying to do. But that was just me winging something that, looking back at it, was some type of herringbone stitch that I just made up as I went. And that was before I learned to read patterns, or it was just me picking up the crochet hook again after what I learned in school, and then I picked it up and then I did the rug thing, and I was like, I think the stitches are supposed to be like this, and it, yeah, it worked out somewhat. I wish I had done it bigger in the beginning, because that was the downside. It was too narrow in one side. Yeah, that's probably the easier way to make rugs that get to a decent size. Thicker yarn and, yeah, faster, bigger, all of that. I'm not a big fan of bulky yarns. For some reason, it just feels like bulky yarns, they weigh the same amount as the, equivalent smaller or thinner yarns. Like it's same like weight on the actual skeins or cakes or whatever, but you don't get as many meters because it's thicker, so it's faster to work them up, so you burn through them faster, and it feels like they're more expensive often, which is weird because same amount, 50 grams is 50 grams. It shouldn't be that much more different in price, but I don't know, it feels like they are pricier, and then you just burn through them so fast. I guess that's why I'm more into, I think this is, you'd say, a DK. It just, you can enjoy it for much longer. And I use a lot of, what is it, fingering, not lace weight, but I think fingering is a lot of the Sultan, or the hobby, the cotton cakes that I mostly buy. Yeah, I guess this is what you'd say, DK. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook, and I'm getting a pretty tight and stiff pattern where I use, tighter stitches. We have single crochets, we have half double crochets, and now we have, well, there's a single crochet back loop only round and double crochets, 3 together clusters. But it's pretty dense. I could definitely use this yarn. It does say recommend 4mm on the label, but I could definitely use like a 5 or something with this yarn as well. And that would also work, but I like the stitch definition you get when you have tighter stitches and neater result. And I am quite loose when I'm holding everything. So we have 100 grams, 210 meters, and everything is in Swedish here, so I don't have any yards or anything like that, but it's made in China for Rusta. And they're kind of funny with the names because it's polyester, so it's Esther. And, well, it's Esther and Ellen. But they have this, it's basically the same yarn, so it's no difference. But they have these in 50-gram skeins, and those are labeled poly. So they have poly and Esther. I wonder what genius is naming their yarns. Someone with a little bit of humor, or I don't know, bad sense of humor. I've seen a quite interesting discussion about the Rusta and what they name their yarns. Apparently someone got offended that all the yarns has names of, well, female names. That it was like only women buy yarn, so only, yeah, to get more women to buy the yarns, we put women names on them. I don't know why women get offended by companies putting girly or female names on a product. There's no men being outraged that they're not included. Yeah, I don't know. People always look for something to be annoyed at, I guess. Yeah. I'm actually seeing the end of this row far away in the distance. It feels like it's gone faster than I expected, but maybe because I have company. I appreciate that very much. What would you say is your favorite thing to crochet? I know I do a lot of shawls and a bunch of baby blankets recently, but I don't know what I want to be doing. Well, I have this blanket and 2 more blankets lined up in, fairly quick succession here. I have deadlines, birthday presents and stuff. So, of course, the birthdays are the deadlines, so I'm hoping I'm gonna have more time to be able to sit down and record some videos, but at the same time, I need to be stitching up some blankets. And the other 2 blankets I can only do when my kid is sleeping or at daycare, because I don't want her to see it since it's for her birthday. Now the chat is being stupid again. Why is everything disappearing so fast? Let's see. What did you say? You said... Oh. Stupid phone. Yeah, it's nice to have stuff that's easy to work with. I have Netflix and stuff going on most of the time, or YouTube videos, and that's just easy. But for certain patterns, like if they're not too tricky, I don't mind doing intricate stuff as well. Like this pattern is, it might look difficult, but it's actually quite simple. The most, there's a couple clusters. There's clusters in here where is it three or, yeah, that's three together. Three together, or is that the ones that's four together? Because there's some bigger clusters. Yeah, with four together. V stitches, back loop only. Yeah, here, clusters and front post. I don't really have to think too much when I do most of these stitches. I just have to look so that I place them right. So as soon as I've basically gone down into the hole and picked it up, I don't really have to look that much because I do feel that I'm in the right position. It's just, because I'm skipping a stitch, so I need to make sure I skip one and then go into the next one. And certain of these rounds is very simple. Where you do shells is probably the simplest ever, because here it's 7 double crochets, and then they all go into this really big hole. So that's a fast one. And then there's just single crochet, chain one, and single crochet, and I can feel both of the holes where I do that. So it's a chain just to skip over this one and then go into the next one and do 7. That's also like a watching movie type of row. You don't have to focus. But I think most of the time I don't really pay attention to what's actually on the TV. I could just have an audiobook or, music. I just want some sound, not necessarily something I look at. So I could never watch something in a foreign language that I can't code. Like English, perfectly fine. Don't need no subtitles for that. But anything else where there's subtitles, I can't do that. So yeah, Swedish or English and more or less audio. Podcasts, yeah, interesting stuff very often. And I notice that like occasionally I find a theme that I just stick to. So I can have like murder mystery documentaries or something going on. And then I just do that for a while and then I get bored and I find something else to keep me company. But there's a couple of series on Netflix that I can probably like tell you what they're about, but I would not know the actor if I saw a picture of them. That's just, yeah, that's not gonna happen. I couldn't tell who's who because I don't pay attention. I do pay attention if it's something I really want to see, but most of the time, if it's something I really, really want to see, I might not even have something to crochet going at the same time. I could probably do like a granny something because, yeah, easy stitches. But nah. I did figure out what to do for the other 2 blankets I want to do. I did figure out patterns and I did get the yarn. It's been a week or some extra days maybe since I got that yarn delivery. So I do have the yarn and I do have patterns now. It took a while to figure out what patterns to make. I'm gonna make a blanket for my, she turns 3 now. So she needs a bigger blanket than just a baby blanket. I guess toddler blanket or, something. And I do have 4 cakes of dahlia yarn in a very pretty color. So hopefully that's going to be enough for a decent sized blanket. And then I'm going to make a blanket for a doll bed for her because she's getting a doll bed from her grandma. So of course you need something to, blanket or bedspread for a doll bed as well, not just for a regular bed. And it's going to be really fun because, I can make blankets for a doll bed in just a few hours probably. So if I want to try something new, some more or less anything, I can make mini sizes and give them to her when I just try new patterns. And if it's patterns that I think I'm gonna like and I realize it's boring, they might just turn up to be enough, a decent size for a doll bed. So it's gonna be easy for that. Now the chat's being stupid again. Why is it disappearing so fast? Oh, you have to go make dinner? Are you gonna cook something yummy? I had a bean chili today. That was really nice. It had been cozying up in my crock pot for overnight. Yep, that was really nice. But definitely I will try to... Oh! Don't mean to hit you guys, but I guess it happens occasionally. Yeah, pasta is easy. I did pasta the other day, so the kids actually had leftover pasta today because the chili was a little bit too spicy for them to be happy about it. So it was only for me, or me and hubby. But the kids, yeah, they don't like the spicy stuff. I'm almost at the corner. I can feel it in my hand now. Yay! I have so many ends to sew in when I'm done with this. I do have, I have sewn in a lot of ends as I've done a bit and then I sewed in some ends, but there's still ends to sew in. But it's not as overwhelming as if I, had skipped it from the get-go. It does take a lot of time to do it though. And this yarn is quite slippery with the polyester. If it's not just shiny, it's also feeling a bit slippery. So I'm leaving the yarn ends extra long so I can sew them in as snug as possible. Feels like I have to do that to be on the safe side because it sucks when the yarn starts to unravel on itself. And I hate to see that happening. So I do try and sew in as much as possible of my pretty long yarn ends actually. And that makes it take even longer time, but it's worth it in the end. Hopefully this blanket's gonna live for many years. It is polyester. It should be sturdy for quite some time. Let's see here. We have a yarn end there. I'm gonna crochet over it now so I do get it a little bit secure just for now. So I do crochet over some of the yarn ends as I go where I can, but at the same time leaving enough so that I can still sew in another direction and get it extra secure. I don't do that with any type of yarn, but this is a really smooth, shiny type of yarn, so it's stupid not to be extra careful. And I do understand that not everyone likes the acrylics or polyesters and not good for the environment. It's plastic and whatnot, but like as I said, this is recycled yarn. So I guess it was a plastic bottle or something at one time, and now it's not. Now it's a yarn. So it's already been through the system once, and might as well use it. And I do have allergies to wool and alpaca. So acrylics and cottons is what I have to play with, um, unless I take some allergy meds, which I do occasionally, and I do suffer through it all. But I don't do it very often, and when I do it, it's for, special reasons, and it's not something I do very, you know, I plan it out so that I don't do it very often. Special occasions, certain special types of items that just doesn't, the other fibers just doesn't feel right for it. Especially when it comes to thicker socks or slippers. It is fairly cold in Sweden during the winters, and acrylic just doesn't cut it in those very cold temperatures. But yeah, don't do it very often. And not for anyone. Usually for more of the special someones in my life. Family members that it feels more worth it to do that little extra sacrifice. Sit here with a runny nose and itchy fingers, because it does itch. Not too bad most of the time. I think alpaca is probably worse than wool though, so it is what it is. Not gonna do more than necessary ever with alpaca, even though there is some very pretty alpaca yarns out there. I guess I just have to stay away. Whoops. Hello, welcome. I see I have some new company here. How are you doing today? Oops. It's quite heavy and warm, nice and toasty to sit underneath this blanket while I crochet on it. It's starting to get really big. This is the back, and this is the front, or parts of it at least. Really nice details and textures, ridges, and yeah, awesome. And a lot smoother on the back. The sides of this square blanket is very long, and I started this row when I started this live an hour ago, and I've done one side, and here we have the corner, and yeah, this much on the next side. These rows are so long, but then again, I've been talking a lot, so I haven't been speedy crocheting, and with the yarn that splits a little bit occasionally, yeah, it is a little bit slower than with some of my other yarns. Sometimes it feels like when I'm crocheting and try to, get it on video, that I'm crocheting too fast, that it's hard to see what I'm doing. I don't know if that's only my own perception, or if that's actually what it looks like on the other side, you know? It's a bit tricky as well to try and maintain so that you can actually see what I'm doing, because I focus on my crochet, not necessarily where I hold my hands. And I'm sorry for that. The only way to get better at it is to do it more often and keep paying attention to what I'm doing, not just the crochet. Right? But hopefully I will be doing this more often. I'll just sit here next time, maybe a cup of coffee, not in the middle of the night. I see one of my hairs in the previous row and it's being more and more crocheted in. I guess that's just a part of it, part of the charm. I wonder how many pieces of my hair that's in this blanket. I know I've been pulling a lot of them out. I do have quite dark hair at the moment, and it does not look very good in the light cream type of colors that I have on certain rows here. Just a bit too visible with this light yarn. In other places, it's not very visible most of the time. But they do say that in every piece of crochet, you should leave some mistakes. I think it's Irish folklore or something like that. That if the work is too perfect, you leave a piece of soul, of your own soul in the work, and it's trapped. But if you leave mistakes, the soul can escape. I guess it's one way to say that if you know that there's mistakes and you're not very happy about it, it's easier to let go of it and not obsess or, miss it too much or such things. Especially when you gift it to someone. It's never fun to gift things that you've spent hours and hours into making and not having people appreciate what they've been gifted or given. But sometimes you just have to move on from that. You can't just get all hung up on things being not appreciated or just because you love the stuff you do. It's life. I wonder if I'm gonna try and do something here with my lighting and see if it makes any difference. Let's see, we do like that. I'm only gonna, might as well try. See what I think. Is it easier to see what I'm doing with different lighting? I don't know. But I can't get better at the video making unless I experiment. So what do you think? Is it better? Worse? I don't know. Feels like the focus is back here. But let's move some of the blanket again. Feels a bit weird to just sit here and crochet to myself, knowing that no one else is really watching me right now, and still talk. Not like it's not like doing the regular videos, because then I talk about something that I have pre-planned, and now I was just thinking that I'd pop on here, see if there's anyone that wants to keep me company for a bit and be chatty. And well, right now I'm all alone, which is fine. It's just a little bit hard. Like, I want to talk and I want to share stuff. It's just a little bit easier when I sit down to record and like I'm gonna film something with a purpose, and I didn't really have that plan today. Figured it's gonna be ending up or turning out to whatever it wants to. Just felt like I've been away for so long. I just needed to get something out here now, and this is the fastest way to do it. But I do apologize if this live is very weird with me quiet for a while and then I'm very talky, and I don't know. I've been thinking about like crocheting videos, just ASMR type style, fairly silent, I guess. If that's something that would be of interest to anyone, because my intention is not for my channel to only be hauls, and there's been a lot, very much hobby yarns, and I do not have any like affiliation or anything like that. All yarn I have is bought with my own money. Occasionally I do get like Christmas present or birthday present or something that makes me, you know, buy yarn that I don't pay for, but I still get to pick the yarn most of the time. So Hobie is just very convenient for me since they do very fast shipping and they have the best variety when it comes to yarns for a decent price. That's how it is. Oh, hello, welcome. I see more people here, or someone at least. Welcome, welcome. How are you this evening? Or maybe it's morning, wherever you are. It's evening slash night for me. And this row is coming closer to the end. Yay! These rows feels very long. I have no idea how many stitches is on each side of this square blanket, but when it takes over half an hour to just do one side, it's gonna take a while before the blanket actually grows to the size you want it to. It's far, far away. It did feel so fast, the first rounds and repeats. I don't know when, it just felt like I hit the wall and the sides from nowhere took so long. It didn't feel so long before. But then I realized that I was like to, I think, 300 almost stitches on each side, and started to think about like how long is this actually taking me? Like how long does this side take? And I wonder how long it's gonna take when I'm like closer to finish it, because this blanket is no way near the size where I want it to be. Not yet. I measured it the other day and I don't remember how far I'd gotten or how much I've done after that, but I think I have, well, I don't know if I've done this part or this part, something like this extra since I measured it, and it was 115 centimeters before. So if I if it was there, then is it like 7 centimeters more ish? I don't know. I'm not very good at just eyeballing it, but I'm thinking that I probably have 120 centimeters from one side to the other. And I'm thinking that the blanket needs to be closer to, not double, but closer to 2 meters. I'm thinking, is it king size bed? Maybe? That has the dimensions I'm thinking I'm going for. But I don't know. If I run out of yarn, I run out of yarn. I don't expect to go buy or not, I'm not planning to buy more yarn for this blanket. I do have quite a lot, and I'm gonna see how far it takes me. And I just have to take it from there, I guess. But the plan is to not buy more yarn, and hopefully it's big enough. But it's gonna be very heavy, and I have actually fallen asleep with my crochet hook in my hand because it feels like a weighted blanket as it is right now. And I just got very tired a few evenings ago. So I fell asleep with my crochet hook in hand and felt very comfortable, huggled and snuggled underneath this blanket. One thing that is a downside with recycled yarn or recycled fibers is that occasionally there is some small plasticky parts. It's almost like when you work with wool and you can find like hay or something, piece of grass. It doesn't happen very often in this yarn, but when I do, I try to get them out because you can feel them occasionally. It's very similar to like hay, grass type of things in natural wool. Very treated, like superwash wool and stuff. It's usually processed so much that it doesn't have that in it, but if it's more of a natural, like maybe not even a dyed yarn from sheep, you can find all sorts of things. It's kind of a charm with that as well. So I'm almost at the next corner. That is 2 sides done in an hour 20. I think, yeah. It would probably, nope, that was too many. Probably be a little faster if I had just been sitting here quietly doing the things I should be doing, or like, focus and not mess up and do it faster. Because it probably would be faster if I didn't do all of the other stuff. But I enjoy this a lot more with company. It's really nice. And I hope to do this more. Maybe more fun though to see something else than just 3 double crochet clusters, or 3 double crochets together, because that's all I've done doing this live here now. But I know that my other projects that I plan in the future here is not just going to be doing like this. And it is what it is. I want to get this blanket done sooner rather than later. And I also want to start some more projects. And I didn't feel like I could do both of those at the same time today because the next pattern I want to be doing, or the next pattern that I plan to start, is a little bit too detailed and I haven't done the pattern before, and I need to pay attention to, reading pattern, counting, and it just didn't feel like it was a good combination to get back on here after so long gone, because of, Christmas, and we were sick. The whole family's been sick for quite some time. And I just wanted to have a relaxed chill time here today. So next time maybe it's more intricate new pattern stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Hello, hello. I see some more people here. Welcome. Good evening, good morning, good night, whatever it is where you're at. Is it anyone out there that has decent time of the day that you can have a coffee for me? Since I can't really have a coffee this late hour and I'm so much in the mood for a coffee. Not to keep me awake or anything. That's why I'm not drinking a coffee, because then I'll be awake till the morning. But I'm just the taste of coffee. I want coffee. Just have to wait till tomorrow morning. But please have some coffee for me, if you can. I pimped my coffee today, or spiced it up a little bit earlier today. I had some cardamom in my coffee maker as it was brewing the coffee. That was a really nice addition to the coffee today. I really enjoyed that. I don't do it very often that I do something extra with the coffee. It's usually just coffee with milk because that's my thing, and I'm the type that does more or less 50-50 milk and coffee because I don't like it too hot. So if I just put half milk, it's decent temperature from the get-go and I don't get burned, and I can just throw it down if I wanted to. Most of the time I sip a bit and then I forget it and it's all cold. So I drink a lot of cold coffee as well because I'm lazy like that. My mother always used to put her coffee in the microwave if it got cold, and that's not doing it for me. I'd rather just have the coffee cold than put it in the microwave. I don't know why. It just feels wrong to reheat it that way. Is it losing flavor, or I don't know. Just weird. Almost at the corner. Yay! And now I have to think. It's been half an hour since I did the last corner, or something like that. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to move you around. Have to think about what the corner is supposed to be like. I do remember the pattern pretty well by now, or at least this row. But I have to think still, what am I supposed to do? And it's simple. Just 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Easy. Easy enough, I should say, for a corner. What is your favorite stitch? I really enjoy making certain stitches and not so much other stitches. And some stitches are very pretty, just takes a lot of time. Popcorn is one of those stitches that I feel takes a lot of time, eats a lot of yarn. It is a pretty stitch to be making, but it is a little bit annoying. The whole like pulling the hook out and reinserting and that part, it just feels like it takes a little bit of the flow away, but they are gorgeous. And I will be making popcorns in one of my planned patterns that I'm going to do in the near future. Puff stitches is also something that takes a lot of yarn. I'm not the biggest fan of yarn eating stitches. I love how they look. I just don't like that projects get smaller when you do yarn eating stitches. But I do love that it gets, you know, a different dimension with popcorns and puffs. It's not just a flat thing. Just like on this here, we have these ridges of back post, and it's really nice when you have a different color, so it kind of makes it even more noticeable. The ridge, it's getting highlighted, kind of. And also, when there's a variety, we have front posts and clusters, so it gets a different type of texture feel. And also here, like, I don't love making these. It's shells and then back post to frame it. I love the look. I don't love making them. That's, yeah, some extra ridges and texture. The flat surface on the back is also gorgeous. It's not 100% flat, but it is a lot less texture than on the other side. Here you can see the colors more instead, with the little pops of blue and tiny rust pieces. There we go. So what is everyone up to? Maybe you're not even crocheting. Maybe you're a knitter. I can't really knit. I can do easy, like, simple stuff, like a straight scarf, basically. And I have done one sock by following a pattern, and it was just not my thing. So I never did the second sock. My mom used to knit socks, the thicker variety or thicker kind of wool socks. That is very popular in Sweden with the cold winters, that you can have like inside your boots. You have regular socks, and then you have this thicker wool sock, and then you have the boots, or shoes, winter shoes, or only indoors also, for cold floors. It's perfect to have that type of sock. So since she does all the knitting, I didn't really bother to learn that much. But I have seen her do enough socks so that I could actually like understand what the pattern said without knowing how to read a knit pattern. basically because I've just seen her make so many of the socks. I knew the concept of how to make a knitted sock. But crochet is my thing. It's my meditation, my soothing, calming spot, my happy place. I do have a lot of issues with mental health, and this is my happy place, and I do love being here. And I wish I could share it with more people more often, but it's been tricky with Christmas, well, holidays, sick kids running around making too much noise. I can't really get much done that I can share with. Well, I've been crocheting, definitely have been crocheting a lot, but I have not had the time to sit down and share it. But let's change that now. I did not make a New Year's resolution. Maybe I should have, but I'm really hoping to grow my channel this year. I I would really love to see it grow. I don't know what type of content would be most liked or interesting. If I should do more lives. I hear some people talk about that the shorts is the thing to do right now. It just feels like there's a lot that gets left out when you do shorts. You can't really show off stuff and go into detail and geek out really, and I love the geeking out. I can talk about yarns for hours. Maybe more detailed and more in depth than some people even want to know. But when I get going, I get going. It's as easy as that. Yeah, this little pop of pink really works good in here. There's some small pops of pink in the light beige caramel. It's almost, yeah, it's a lot lighter, but it's still there. Faint pink. And I need some solids to break all the other colors up occasionally. I'm happy about my decision. Even though I kind of wish I had found this particular piece of, or this skein earlier, so I could have had it in from the beginning. But now I don't have that luxury, and I'm not gonna rip out all of the work only because I found another color that works good enough to be in here. I'm just gonna keep going and be happy about it. After this row, it's actually not another row to add on top of this one. Next row is to make this extra little detail. and that detail will go into a row down here. Surprise, surprise. Oh, I see, where is my charger? I have too many things around me now, and my phone is complaining that it's getting low on battery. And I would hate to see my phone die right now. So let's do it like that. And like so. And still a bit. Maybe I should adjust this a little bit. You stay. Like so. There we go. Ooh. Oh. Adjust my phone and then I start hitting it again. Not my intention. I'm sorry. So. Back to the crocheting. Have you seen any videos on my channel before? If you have not, then you're maybe in for a treat. Who knows? If you like crochet and yarn, there is some stuff there. What would you like to see more on my channel if you have already been here for a while? I started this blanket on January 5th, and it is over 115 centimeters across. So each side now takes over half an hour to make. But then again, I have been working on the blanket daily for hours. So I have done a lot in that time. And of course, the rows didn't take half an hour in the beginning. Let's see if I can get the middle here, because the middle is actually really pretty. That's the start of this blanket. It's called Marnie's Garden, and I found the pattern on Ravelry. So this is the beginning, and then from here you do repeats of a pattern. Well, here is the ridge. I like to think of like in ridge sections like this, but the pattern repeat, is it from here? I don't remember. Or is it after this? No, wait. Here we have this cluster here. So this is the repeat. And then it's just repeating itself. Yeah, that's the repeat. And then you end up at this ridge. But it's not that type of ridge here because the beginning square is different. So it's a ridge, but it's not it's back posts that makes this ridge a little extra. Here you can see the back post ridge. But I'm not only crocheting very many hours every day, because I do crochet very many hours a day. I also feel like I have time crunch since this is a birthday present. And then I also have 2 more birthday presents that I should start to do. Oh, I'm very sorry. So I'm feeling a bit pressure because we have a lot of family that has birthdays in February, including my own. But I don't have time to make myself a birthday present. Hopefully, I'll get something for birthday present that I don't have to make my own or myself. Well, I would not say no if I would get yarn for birthday present that I can make something out of. That's totally fine. But yeah. Cool. Mine is the 4th, and my daughter's is the 20th. And then I have my stepdad and my brother also in there, and I have an uncle. We have a lot of us in February. But yeah, I'm making 2 blankets for my daughter's birthday this year, which might sound a bit over the top since I haven't even started her blankets yet. But one is toddler size. It's her 3rd birthday, so she's not that big. She doesn't need like the largest blanket, but she also is getting a bed for her dolls. So of course I need to do something for a doll bed, which is definitely a doable size. Oh, that's even cooler. How old is your daughter? It's quite funny. My daughter was born on the 20th of February 2020. So there's a lot of twos in her birthday. Yeah, that's a bit of a difference from my 3-year-old. But it has its perks to have old kids. You don't have to take care of them anymore. I have quite a few years before they're all like, taking care of themselves, all by themselves. Yeah, your daughter is older than I am. So hopefully I have a bunch of years to raise kids before they run out of the house. And hopefully they're decent people by the time I'm done with them. Who knows? I might miserably, utterly, just total fail. But let's hope not. I keep my fingers crossed. It's not easy raising kids. Well, you are younger than my mother, but you could definitely be my mother. And you don't have to worry about people frowning and looking weirdly at you when you crochet in public, because crocheting is something that only old people do. So when I do it, people look at me like I'm crazy. And I don't think it's that crazy. But the culture and tradition in Sweden, um, knitting is very, very heavily like deep rooted in tradition here. So crocheting is not something that very many people do. It's a lot more knitters in Sweden, and a lot of natural fibers. So sometimes it can actually be hard to find decent synthetics like acrylics and polyesters and blends because it's just not as popular. I guess it's not as environmentally friendly and all that stuff. So a lot of wool and a lot of cotton, more of the really thin, like lace, weight, mercerized, almost like rope-esque tightness of those yarns, threads. And people that crochet here, it's mostly doilies. And that's not what I want to do. I don't like the doily type of things. It's really nice to crochet mandalas. I don't say that's not fun, but I don't have the type of home where like lace doilies is very like fitting. My house is a little bit more modern, and that's very traditional, I'd say. I think I'm very environmentally friendly. No, why do I keep hitting my phone? I'm really sorry. Um, when I picked this yarn up, I'll show you because I have a lot of them here. We have Esther, and Esther is recycled, 100% recycled polyester yarn. Isn't that environmentally friendly? It used to be something, plastic bottles, I don't know what, and now it's yarn, and I make something pretty out of it. I think it's a win-win. I think this is what you would say a DK weight yarn. It's a 100 grams, 210 meters, and 4 millimeter crochet hook recommendation. So, and I don't think this is available outside Sweden because this is made for Rusta, which is basically a cheap style store, like dollar store or similar to that. So the main colors of this blanket is this mixed greens and a little bit of red or rust orange, and then this lighter beige, little bit of pink, and this reminds me of like caramel, something like that. It's not really brown, it's just a little bit speckled. But these are the main two colors I'm using, and then I have accents of this rust color. I have this accent pink because I do have small pops of lighter pink in this, so I figured it would work. And then we have pops of a bluish green mixed. That one looks, oh, again, I'm sorry. And this is also a little bit of golden, and I think this caramel type color is the same as the other one. So it really works nice together. And then I have a solid green also. So these two colors is actually like this season's color at the store, and all of the other yarns I bought last year, and they're all out of those colors. So these two colors I can get how many more I want to, and these I do have all of them here. We have the green and then we have the pink. These are just accents that I had. One ball of the pink, one ball of the orange, and one ball of the green, and then I had 3 balls of this with the blue. So I'm just popping them in here and there for a little bit extra effect. I'm really not good at keeping from hitting you guys. I'm sorry. And now I'm trying to tuck away the pink also. I did not intend to move that out of the way because that's the one I'm using. I wasn't sure if this was going to work together. I fell in love with this one, but I thought it was too much with just this and I needed it like toned down. So that's why I paired it up with this one. But looking at it, like at one point I was like, should I have only had these two colors and not mix the other ones in? But it felt like it's not a bad thing to put solid colors in here and there occasionally, um, to make the like pattern pop and the colors show off a little bit extra. Like you can really see the orange rust, I don't know what you want to call it, but you can see it there, and here it's just a thin line. This is the back side, but it's only slip stitches. And here's a row of slip stitches with the green. It really adds to it. Like this little, here, just a little slip stitch row, occasionally, it does add a lot. And it breaks off the other stuff. Like it gives your eye something more easy to rest on. All over. So, here we go. Back to it. I see a lot more people joining in. Very welcome. I hope that you will enjoy it here. I'm just working a little bit here on my crochet blanket. And unfortunately, it's not much more than these double crochet clusters with the 3 double crochets together at the moment. Because my rows right now, it's a square blanket, but my rows take over half an hour. And I have 1.5 side left of this cluster stitch before I can do something else. Which feels insane because it felt like the rows just took 20 minutes. We're like all way round. And then all of a sudden they have like half an hour one side. It's just blankets grow fast sometimes. That's for sure. So, are you guys crocheting tonight or today, or what time is it? I'm sitting here in the darkness. Well, I have lights, but it is, what time is it? It's past midnight. It's 17 past midnight here in Sweden, and it's not as cold as I was anticipating it to be in mid-January. It's raining. We don't have any snow. We did have snow, and now we don't have snow, which is sad, because when it's snow outside, it's a lot lighter and my mood gets a lot better. But no, apparently my just bad weather it's just gonna be there. Here's the backside of the center. Even the backside is pretty. Here it is actually a little bit of chains, or it's detail that's sticking out, but not a lot. But that's basically the only fun thing going, like otherwise it's just smooth surface on the back. My geography skills are not the best, but I'm thinking that Michigan is that in the northern parts of the US, or like the northern half? I don't know. Some states I know better than the others, but my guess, it just feels like it's like the upper half. Am I wrong? Am I right? But it's still early for you, or like, is it dinner time maybe? If you have a coffee after dinner, think of me, because I would love a coffee right now. Only for the taste, not for the fact that I'd be up till the morning. That's why I'm not having a coffee now, but it would be so delicious. So anyone having a coffee now, just send your thoughts my way and enjoy it. Every sip of it. I'm jealous. Big mitten. Is it mitten shape? Makes me think of Italy. Because Italy is shaped like a shoe or like a boot. It's fun when you can see like shapes that resemble something else in a map. Oh, I'm really sorry. I need to figure out a better way to like keep my camera on a decent distance so you can see what I'm doing, but at the same time not hit it. It's been so long since I did anything really here. In the center. Okay. Is it like center, center, center? Like center, not only like up, down center, like side to side center. If that makes sense. I wasn't like the best at geography, but I do know quite a bit about like where certain places are in America at least. I do have fairly good knowledge, I'd say. I think I know more about America than certain Americans know about Europe at least because I I've seen that so many times that it's not very common that Americans know a lot of what's going on outside America. Or yeah, that's you learn all the states by heart and you can tell them like in order alphabetically and backwards and whatnot. And then someone asks like, where is certain country? And they would not know where to point on a map. Maybe it's just the youth of today. I don't know. Just feels like it doesn't feel so important. So, like this, you're in the middle of like in the middle here or just like in the middle of the palm. I've been thinking many times of going to the US. Um my oldest, his grandparents live in California. I've never been there. They've been here to visit. I don't live with his father anymore, so yeah. But he's not going to visit his parents anytime soon anyway. They are Swedes that did migrate in the 80s and then he moved back here. But I have no really desire to go meet them, but I like there's places in the US that I would love to go to. That would be really cool. Ah, okay. Like certain places it's just I've seen them so many times in movies or on YouTube and like the Grand Canyon. It looks really stunning from what I can tell, but it's hard to grasp how big the area is. Like seeing people flying helicopters over the Grand Canyon, it still feels like you don't get a grasp of how much there is there, you know? I did find a YouTuber a few years yeah, a few years ago. I've been following her. She rides a motorcycle around the world. A solo female traveler on a motorcycle. Really cool. I she's from the Netherlands. Her channel is called Itchy Boots, and she drove her motorcycle. Well, she's been all over the place, including here in Scandinavia and Sweden. But she went from the southern parts of South America up to Alaska on her motorcycle, which is really cool. And right now, I don't know where she's going, but her motorcycle is being shipped off somewhere. I'm thinking she's going to Australia. It's going to be really interesting to see where her journey takes her, but she's been doing really cool stuff on the way. And it's really fun to see like small villages in the middle of nowhere and just quirky stuff. Because she really found, small places with indigenous people and finding out history. And sh- I think she's really into geology. So there's been a lot of like rock formations and volcanoes and all sorts of fun stuff like that. If you don't really have to be into it, she makes it really interesting. But looking at places that like I'd never been to the places she went, like the Rockies, driving a motorcycle over there and snow, and I was like, I had no clue that there was snow in the southern parts of the US. But then again, I wasn't aware of how high the mountains were. So of course, high mountains, yeah, they do have snow. Because I was thinking like, oh well, there's snow like along the US Canadian border, then you're far up north enough so you have snow. So, yeah, I felt a bit silly realizing that it does snow in like the middle of the US as well. But for some reason, it just feels like it's flatter down south or the southern parts. But I do feel like Michigan is fairly cold, that you do get snow in Michigan. Something rings a bell that it does happen to snow in Michigan. Maybe not a lot, maybe it doesn't stay for long, but I don't know. Just feels like it's not unheard of, at least. Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know. Maybe I sound really stupid. Yeah, so I'm thinking snow, Canadian border. That, yeah, I'm not totally off then. Okay, good. So, are you crocheting something now? Maybe not this second, but like have something that you're working on when you have time. I do a lot of blankets and a lot of shawls or scarves or. So you might get snow, but I get rain, and I'm living where it's supposed to be snow. Not fair. This time of year it's supposed to be white here and cold. I know that there's going to be snow. Like there's always snow in February. I'm just happier if it's snow like constantly for a while and then it just disappears and we end up in spring in March, but that's not going to happen because we usually have snow coming and going until May basically most of the time. We basically have April Fool's weather for the whole of April. You never know what type of weather we will have in April. Coasters is nice. That's fairly quick stuff, and you can make a lot of them in no time at all. It's been a while since I did coasters. I did quite a lot of sunflower coasters. I do have my own pattern. And I did make a YouTube video of that pattern as well. I did that pattern last spring, and I did put, that's the only pattern I have on Ravelry. I'm not really good at making patterns. I'm really good at making other people's patterns, like work them up like this. But I have too many ideas and not that good at like getting them down on paper. But I did get that sunflower coaster down on paper, and I did put it on Ravelry, and all the proceeds from that, or like basically any money made from that pattern, is donated towards the, well, towards the people that's had to flee for their lives in Ukraine. We have quite a lot of Ukrainian refugees in Sweden right now still. So I felt like I could contribute a little bit, since I didn't feel like my pattern writing skills are that good or anything like that. I figured whatever few amounts of money it will make, I'm not gonna keep it to myself. I'm just gonna give it to people that needs something extra. It's really interesting, actually. We have a knitting cafe every 2 weeks. It's organized by our church. It's called Knitting Cafe, but there's a few crocheters there, and sometimes there's cross stitchers or other type of fun crafts, but mostly the people knit. And we do have a woman from Ukraine she fled to Sweden with her two of her 4 sons. The 2 oldest are still there, and she used to be a teacher in Ukraine, teaching knitting and crochet, and her skills are so amazing. We sit there every time we're there, and like, she has something new, very intricate, detailed patterns. It's really interesting to see, because the tradition in Ukraine is very different from what I'm used to here in Sweden, and it's not a lot of doilies and lace type of stuff. She's good, really good. But the knitting part is, yeah, it's just not my thing. I crochet, and that's all I do. A lot of it, even. I do crochet every day for at least a couple of hours. There's very few days that I don't crochet, but that's probably because I don't like have the time every day, but most of the time. Oh, itch. Not very often my eyelids itch, but it happens. I'm at the next corner. Oh my god. Oh, I'm sorry again. Did not mean to do that. Need to figure this out a lot better till next time. So what's for dinner tonight? Anything good? I had a bean chili with rice. And it had been getting all cozy in my slow cooker overnight. So that was nice that I didn't have to put that much effort into dinner this evening. I only had to cook the rice. Very handy with slow cookers. That's for sure. Also not something very common in Sweden. Because I don't know why. Slow cookers feels like it's a very American thing. But I might be wrong. I don't know where it came from the beginning. I know I have two, and I like them. I don't use them as much as I should, I think. Sometimes I forget I have them. Beef stew. What do you have in your beef stew? Do you have anything yummy? I would say in a beef stew, my type of style, I would put some diced up beef and I would pour in some beer and I would slice up a pretty spicy of these. I don't know if you have them over there, but it's like we call them beer sausage. They're really good as a snack to beer. Similar to salami, a smoked sausage that's but really thin. And they do give a lot of extra flavor. And then I'd put carrots, onions, and potatoes down in it all and let it just get yummy for a couple of hours. That is a good beef stew in my eyes. But I do know not everyone likes to cook with beer or wine, or I think it works really good in some beef stews, not all of them. And the alcohol is getting boiled away anyway. It's just for flavor. Sometimes it just feels like a waste to just put water in, but broth or stock is not always. I don't always have that at hand. Of course, water is always in the tap, but sometimes you just want more flavor, and there's plenty ways to get the flavors in. And of course, yeah, spices. But the sausages, yeah. Oh, beer sticks. Yeah, that makes perfect sense because they're usually like decent length. And when you just slice them up into small, like, I don't know, coins, they just adds plenty flavor. I do recommend that if you feel like you want to try something different, because I don't think that's something you would think of to do. Or maybe you would. How would I know? I'm just thinking that's not the most common thing to do. To put sausage in your stew. I'm just gonna fix a little bit here. And losing my hook here. I need to sit down and record some videos. I do have some more new yarns that I've purchased recently. So I have yarn hauls, and I have, well, 2 blankets that I need to start on very soon. Well, beer maybe isn't the weirdest thing to put in a stew, but I'm thinking like the beer sticks maybe is not the most common thing to add to the beer stew. And you don't have to be a fan of the beer sticks really to make it work in a beer stew. Because I'm not really a fan of that because I usually don't like drink a beer either. But in cooking, it works perfectly fine. But yeah, my blankets, I have the toddler blanket and the doll bed blanket that I need to do. And I did get the yarn delivered last week. So I'm gonna show that in a video in the near future. Hopefully I can even get time tomorrow to sit down and focus on that. Would be really nice. Because I do prefer to actually do the yarn haul before I start with the projects. We'll see. I did get a message outside of YouTube now, a Facebook message from someone that's been just sitting listening to my videos, to my soothing voice. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe it's a good thing if it's late and you want to fall asleep. But yeah, I guess that could also work. Maybe people find crocheting interesting, but want to fall asleep watching it. I don't know. People do ASMR videos out of a lot of things. Crochet ASMR, soothing, low speaking. I don't know. Is it a thing? Should I do that? I love watching ASMR videos. Sometimes that's like a go-to for me to fall asleep. But I don't think I have seen or found like a ASMR crochet type of video. Maybe I need to make it a thing. And I know not everyone know what ASMR is. And I'm fine with that. I don't really know how to describe it. I don't know what the letters stand for, but it is something. It's getting closer to 1 o'clock at night. Well, it's 15 minutes left or so. And I probably should think about going to bed soon-ish. Not right now. I'm enjoying my crocheting a little bit too much for that. I'll get to it at some point. But I don't want to go to bed. Just like I want coffee, but it's too late for coffee. I I've been looking around for like I have a lot of YouTube crochet channels that I've subscribed to, and I don't know, it feels like there's not a lot of live crocheters, or maybe I'm just looking at the wrong time of the day. I don't know, because there's, as I said, it's a more of a knitting culture tradition in Sweden, and maybe I'm just on the wrong side of the world. That there's a lot more crocheters in the US, and of course they're up doing fun stuff when I'm sleeping. So maybe that's why I don't really see live crocheters that much. There's a lot of YouTube channels, but there's not a lot of live crochet YouTube channels. Or maybe more on like Instagram, maybe? It's also hard to know like what do you want to see, you know? I consider crocheting, well, I do crochet more or less all day some days, and I could sit live for most of that time, but it needs to be, worth looking at as well. Right now I'm feeling kind of boring because I'm only doing these cluster stitches. So if I'm doing smaller projects or not like have over 300 stitches on each side, then maybe it's more interesting to see. I did go live on Instagram yesterday, and at that point I was doing the back post on this ridge here. So it's back post and front post and back post, like this front post here and the back post. And I felt like that was at least a little bit more fun to look at, maybe. But I've also had a lot of people talking about how to hold the crochet hook, and that it's interesting to just watch people that hold differently. And also that since apparently I don't hold it very commonly, there's a lot of knife holders out there, and of course there's a lot of pencil holders as well, but maybe it's a bit different that I'm holding my thumb um, and my pointer finger like to hold the hook, and then I use my longer finger to just keep the stitches on or like push them off depending on what I'm doing. But I'm using it a lot as the guide or such, and I guess that's different, maybe. Oops, sorry again. I really need to figure something out here. Oh, she does live giveaways. Okay, I've only seen her regular like videos. I don't think I've seen her go live at some point, but I'm guessing it's the time of day that just doesn't work very good for me. Um, but I don't think no, I haven't seen her crochet live. I've only seen her crochet in videos. She does really awesome giveaways. I'm really, really jealous of the people that's been winning her giveaways because they are awesome. The amount of yarn, she's so generous. Bag O'Day is, yeah, she's just a great designer. She has so many nice tutorials And then the giveaways. I would be really happy if I could just like, do half of, not even that, like her designing skills is really good. I'm probably gonna do this row out. Yeah, do this row and then I have to think about bed, which I don't want to, but it's still a way to go before I'm at the end. So I'm gonna push through. And next row is not gonna be this color. This is the same row as with the orangey color there and the green here. The rose that I think looks like flower buds or tulips. That's not opened up yet. So next row after I will do the same light colors again. But that's gonna be for tomorrow. I wonder how many of the cluster stitches I've done in this blanket. Like on this row, it's the 3 together cluster stitches. And then we have the 4 together cluster stitches. Yeah, she's very generous. There's quite a few YouTubers out there that is very generous. And I do feel a little bit jealous sometimes. I do understand the situation that not everyone can afford shipping internationally. There is still a part of me that wishes that they would, because I would definitely be very happy to participate in more giveaways. Yeah, I do. I don't think, or like, I wouldn't say that I'm looking at every video and um such. Like there's certain YouTubers that I feel, I don't know, a little bit more soothing voices. That's one thing that I like to look at. Nichecraft has really nice giveaways and a nice voice. I like her videos. Oh, what other YouTubers do I like? There's so many of them, and I'm not very good at all the channel names, but we have very similar to my name though. The Scraptastic Yarns. Jane is a really, really genuine, nice person, and then we have, oh my god, why do I not remember all the names? Well, there's so many. We have, what do I like to look at? So many nice crochet channels. We have, what's the channel name? Creative Grandma. And what's Rose's channel? Now I don't remember. We have Tina from Iceland. She has tutorials on her YouTube channel. I have done some of her patterns. I don't want to butcher her names, but Tina, yeah, very weird Icelandic names. I don't even know. Yeah, but I have done some of her patterns. She's really cool. She's a really bubbly spirit. Awesome. I don't think I've seen her do, yeah, she done lives, but she's done them for like members. yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't really remember most of the YouTube channels by name. I see a lot of faces in front of me and thumbnails, and I do have them on my like subscribe list, but I need to get better at it. So, Crochet Crowd, is there anything special that you like about that channel? Anything you recommend? Oh, yeah. Next time I'm using another stand or holder. I'm also not just jealous about like all the giveaways that you have the chance to be a part of, but something else that I'm like, there's so many yarn stores. Yeah, Nastasia, I'm subscribed to her. Jada and Stitches, I don't know. There's something I don't like about Jada and Stitches. I don't know what it is. The channel is good itself, and the other Sarah Sack, Fiberflex, Melanie Ham. Never heard of them. Fiber Spider. I like Fiber Spider. I don't know what it is about Jada and Stitches that I'm. It's just. I don't know. There's something that just doesn't make me want to go watch all the videos. But I know by myself that I'm really like, if you have a soothing voice or if you have like other calming things, or I do tend to go for that. Bonnie Bay Crochet I've heard of, but I don't think I've seen anything. I don't know. I'm not sure. I recognize the name. I might have heard it from another YouTuber. I don't know. Fiber Spider has a lot of nice patterns that I've tried. And I did think of something else now. I don't. Ola Joe. I've seen some Ola Joe videos. But Cassie from Nichecraft, I really love. Like, she started to do like yarn dyeing stuff recently, but her giveaways are really nice. I am so jealous that I can't participate. Yeah, it might be Jada's voice. I don't know. It might be a simple thing as that just doesn't make me want to go like, oh, a new video, I want to see it. It's unfortunately might be the case. Oh, Ophelia Talks. I think she's from Belgium, but she lives in the UK. Ophelia Talks, I like her. uh, Her name is Anya, but the channel name is Ophelia Talks. I like that channel. Yeah. Oh, back to the other thing I was jealous about, not just the giveaways I can't participate in, the yarn stores. Like, I'm in Sweden. Sweden's not a very big country. We don't have a lot of big yarn stores or anything like that. We have, well, craft stores for that matter either. We have smaller local yarn shops, and the one where I live is not at all good. I live in a small town, and the only yarn store, like the real yarn store, it's crap, and they're rude. So I don't want to promote them for that purpose, reason, whatever. Like if you're rude, then I don't want to shop here in your store. We do have a lot of yarns that comes and goes in like a local grocery store, and like this store, um, the yarn that I'm currently working with, it's a store that's similar to any like dollar store type chain, but it's a Swedish version, I guess, where most of the stuff is pretty cheap and not the best quality. But they do have their own yarn, so I'm happy about that. But I do, as anyone that really has checked through my channel and the videos, I buy most of my yarn online, and Hobby is my go-to yarn store online. And they're based in Denmark, and that's like if I get myself into a car and drive down to Denmark, it'd probably take me 8 or 9 hours, maybe a little bit more to get to the closest of the Hopi actual yarn locations. So that's a dream, to go to an actual Hopi store and shop in store and not just online. But that's a dream for another year. Maybe if I get big on YouTube, I can afford to do that little extra trip to go and buy yarn, and I'll of course take everyone here with me, but that's far away in the future. But it's still a dream. I would love to go to Denmark and buy yarn. But we don't really have any big like online yarn store in Sweden either. Like everything, like they sell all other types of stuff as well, not just yarn. Like there's a bookstore that has that sells yarn. So I guess it's similar to like when the craft store sells yarn, but yeah. Hobby is just, it turned into my go-to where I get most of my yarn. And that might be, oh, not again. It might be boring to only see hobby hauls, but the yarn is gorgeous, so it's hard to not buy their yarn. If that makes sense. I bet you have a favorite yarn store that you get most of your yarn from. Or maybe even a favorite brand. I love that yarn is so versatile. Like you can, with the same type of yarn, you can make so many different type of items. Clothing, home decor, accessories, bags, so many things. So many beautiful things. Oh. Not paying attention to how I'm sitting. I would love to just walk through Joann's and see all the yarn. There's quite a lot of stores that I've heard of that sells yarn in the US that it would be so much fun to just put my foot in there and go like down the aisles because literally there's not not anywhere in any close to me at least where there's that much yarn as I've seen people like walking into Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby and there's like walls of yarn. There's no way near me that I could go to and be even close to that. Like my local yarn store here, they have like one wall in the whole store that's yarn, and the rest is like fabrics. And I think their focus is more like curtains, really. So it's not really a yarn store, but it's like the local fancy. Maybe I'll go there sometime and sneak some pictures or something if I dare to. But as I said, they're not really the friendliest in that store, so I don't like to go there whatsoever. I don't like to support them or promote them. This is just. I'm really sorry. Let's. Are you a knife holder or a pencil holder? I'm jealous. If you're in a little town and you have a huge yarn store, I'm jealous. There is a town far, far up north in Sweden. I have a friend living there. It's really far up, not over the Arctic Circle, but not far from it. And her city is smaller than the city I live in, but they have two yarn stores. I'm jealous. But then again, when you're far, far up, you have long winters and you're snowed in occasionally. So it doesn't hurt to have a lot of yarn if you get snowed in, right? I wouldn't mind getting snowed in with a huge stash of yarn. I don't think a lot of people would mind that. As long as you have yarn, I don't care how much snow. Well, as long as I don't have to go out and shovel it, then I do mind. Oops. What's your favorite type of crochet hook? I know that's also something that's been very debated in Facebook groups. I love these tulip Edimo hooks, but I know they're expensive and I know not everyone can afford them. And honestly, I can't really afford them either. They were gifted to me. This was my Christmas present last year, so yeah. But I'm loving it. The crochet hooks I had before getting them. I do have one here close by. This is the type of crochet hook I had before. Just a regular aluminum crochet hook. And they work perfectly fine as well. You don't have to be very fancy. I don't know if this is like, it's 4 millimeters. And I do know that in the US you use the letters, but I don't know why it says G6. Oh my god, the lighting and whatnot. Is that common? That it's got a letter and a number? Just, it says G6, even though it's very shiny. Because I do know, like, talking about the letters, I've seen enough YouTube videos to know that that's the US style of measuring hooks, I guess. But I don't know why it says G6. Do you know? I don't know. But yeah, I got these really lovely crochet hooks, and I use them all the time. I do occasionally use my old crochet hooks. Like if I go out and to crochet in public, I'd rather lose an inexpensive crochet hook if I have to lose a crochet hook than my pricey crochet hooks. So I don't take these out when I go places and crochet. So they have letters and sizes, okay. I'm curious about the clover hooks. Clover Amour, I think, is very popular for pencil holders as well. I have pretty much ruled out, without even trying, without even considering trying, the furls hooks, because they look very big and bulky, and they also look more like they would fit knife holders. I don't see a furls hook being very nice to hold in your hand as a pencil holder. I don't know why, it just looks weird. And most of the people I see using them are knife holders. And they're also like very expensive, and to ship them to Sweden is ridiculous. So that's not a hook I see myself trying in anytime soon. The clover hooks, I do have my eyes on them a little bit, but people saying they're really good and then trying the tulip ones say that tulip is better. So I don't know if I would enjoy, like, they're probably really great hooks, but I don't see that I would get anything better. It might be a downgrade. I don't know. Yeah, I hear like it feels like people love clover. That's a good hook, but once you go tulip, it's clover isn't that good anymore. I don't know if it's the shape of the handle or the glide of whatever coating is on the hook, because it is smooth as butter most of the time. Not when I have sweaty hands though, and I do get that occasionally. And then I have to go and wash my hands cold, and I have to run my crochet hook through my hair. But that's That's on me that I get like clammy hands. That's not on the crochet hook. That's not the fault of the hook. So I'm getting closer to the corner here. Yay! Almost time for bed. Gotta finish this off. Oh. And the last cluster is going in. Like so. And then I get my trusty Sharpie scissors. I love the scissor. It comes with the set of the hooks I have. The tulip hooks. I did get this. Like, look at this scissor. Look at the details. This is an Italian scissor that comes in the kit with the Japanese made hooks. But can you see the lighting is a little bit making it too shiny. Yeah, here you can see Italy. But there's like some pattern all the way around. Fancy. Same on the other side. And they're super sharp. I have like a protector because it's super sharp. Yeah, I really appreciate the company. And I love that the activity in the chat. It makes it a lot more easy for me to not just sit here and ramble about stuff that people are totally not interested in. At least when I have someone to talk to, I can, actually talk about stuff that might be interesting to at least that person. And I like to join quite invisible, so you can almost not see where the stitch is, or where I ended it. Certain rows it's easier to hide it, but now I did a chain just before, so that makes it a little bit more noticeable where the join is. But now I can go to bed because I started this live stream in this corner and I ended it in this corner, and my live stream even cut off halfway in, so I've been here for 2.5 hours making one row and really enjoying talking to you all. That's it's been really nice. I really appreciated it, and hopefully I will do some lives soon again. And I really hope to get a haul video up this week. I really hope I can squeeze it in tomorrow. I should be able to at least film it tomorrow. I don't know if I'll have time to edit it tomorrow, or yeah, but hopefully at least during the weekend or such. So Rick Stevens, is that someone that crochets? Don't recognize the name. Maybe I have to check that out. But yeah, this Marnie's garden is gonna grow, so I plan to show the blanket off more in a video, hopefully, in the future. Maybe I should do, I don't know, I just have so many plans. So many plans, so many things I want to do. But for now, I need to go to bed. So thank you very, very much for sticking by here. And yeah, I appreciate all the comments. Leave a like or subscribe if you have not done that yet. And I hope to see you guys back here soon. So thank you very much. Bye bye and good night.